Imagine a world where by simply observing an object, you can change its inherent properties down to the deepest core of what it is. Imagine a world where by simply observing an object, you can alter what it consists of and how it behaves. There is an experiment that suggests that we live in that specific world, and it goes by the name of the double slit experiment.
The double slit experiment was created in 1801 by a physicist named Thomas Young. It consists of two tiny slits that light was shot through, and the wall behind the two slits that displayed the pattern created by the light.
But why should light? Because prior to this experiment, light was perceived by many to be a particle, and just that, solely a particle, because of the fact that it consists of photons.
If that were true, then when the light was shot through the two slits, two parallel lines of particles should be displayed on the back wall. After all, particles are tiny pieces of matter, and they should go right through the slits in an independent fashion.
You see, that's not what actually happened though.
This is an interference pattern. That is what was actually displayed on the back wall during the double slit experiment once the light was shot through the two slits.
You see, here's the important part. Interference patterns only appear when waves collide and hit a surface. The only explanation to the interference pattern appearing in the double slit experiment is that the light was traveling as a wave, not a particle. Now, let's fast forward in time a bit. Once technology became more advanced in the early 1900s, physicists had the idea of shooting pieces of light one at a time. After all, if you shoot them one at a time, then there cannot be a collision, and therefore there cannot be an interference pattern. In theory, the pattern that is projected should be that of a particle, two parallel lines.
After quite a while of shooting particles one at a time, the same interference pattern eventually appeared. How is this possible? Well, it turns out that when one particle was shot, it split up before entering both slits at the same time, and once it entered, the two halves would collide with each other, creating the interference pattern. But wait, it gets weirder. It turns out that each piece of the particle enters through either the left or right slit, or the middle, based on the probability state.
But wait, it gets even weirder. Physicists then decided to place a tool next to one of the slits in order to measure the probability of the particle going through that one specific slit. What happened next is truly crazy.
The light passed through the slit and formed the pattern of a particle. They went right through. No waves, no interference pattern, no nothing. Just two parallel lines of particles like everyone suspected from the get-go.
You know what this means? Observing the light caused the waveform to collapse. The light knew it was being watched and it therefore decided to act differently. How does light know it's being watched? And all this brings up an even bigger question. If light, waves, and particles, essential building blocks of the world around us, act differently based on whether we are or aren't looking at them, is the world we interact with a lie?